Happy Tuesday!
Hi, she's Chrissy,
And she's Sissy.
and we're Chrissy and
And
Sissy.
Sissy.
Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. Just stop. Do y'all like my what I done with the place?
She is hilarious, everybody.
You
She is
guys,
hilarious.
y'all know the story. When we started recording and doing this stuff, I was like, I don't want to move nothing. I just moved, this room over. I just moved it over. All right, y'all. We have a dynamic
Yeah.
lesson. Every now and then we get those lessons where it hits home. I'm talking about we done knocked it out the park and it's a home run on home field with a nice hot dog and a Coke and some Lay's potato chips, yeah, because it hits home. We're talking about Isaiah offering hope for the future, right? That knowing that in the midst of your troubles, your tribulations, anything that you're going through, that
Yeah.
God always will offer or have that lifeline or that, as they call it, that life jacket or what's that thing called, the circle, that life chest thing.
It's a the life jack, the lifesaver, the ring of life.
Lifesaver. He always has that for us. And it's saying
Yeah.
divine mercy gives us hope because we don't have mercy of anyone else. That's not what we try. That's not what we're talking about. Yeah, we're talking about divine mercy. When God has something for you, it is for you. When God does something, because God gives us mercy even when we don't deserve it, because we mess up, and because He knows when we're going to mess up. He knows
Mm-hmm.
that we apologize, repent it now, but we may go ahead and do it, 2 months later down the line. And He knows, but He gives us brand new mercies each day. So we have such a dynamic lesson. And the reason why it just hits home, she got like she don't want to say nothing, yeah. But the reason why it hits home is because we've seen some of this stuff in action. Because when the lesson started talking about, are you dishonoring God? Like, even though God forgives us, do we hold that closely to our thoughts? Well, let me go ahead and sin now, do this now, and ask for forgiveness later, because God knows my heart. You know how they say that. Side note, I was in class today, and somebody was one of my students was like, this one of the older students. One of the students was giving an answer, said, "You know what? I'm wrong." I said, "You need me to correct?" I just said, "You need me to correct you? Need me to help you?" She said, "Yeah, I need you to correct me like a sinner." So done. I was so done. But go ahead, sis. Just share with us about the lesson.
So this is one of those lessons where Chrissy really needs to just kind of like sit back, kind of like really think before I speak, because I don't want it to get into like a um me on my soapbox type thing. But um you all know I always say I always try to think before I speak, and I always try to be the best little light for the Lord that I can be. But in this lesson, it talks about how the Lord recognizes that our mouths say one thing, but we literally live something else. Okay, so it's like when we're out in public, we're one way. And then when we're at home, we're doing other things. And the lesson talks about that as well. How we plan things and how we ponder things in our heart to do the wrong thing. And we know we're doing the wrong thing. But then we think that God is not watching. We think that He does not see us. So, and nobody's perfect. I don't want to say that anybody's perfect, because nobody's perfect. But there's a difference between willfully sinning and then you just you just slip up and make a mistake. So there's a difference between, what do they call it, sis?
You are premeditated.
Premeditated. So there's a difference between premeditated sinning, and then you just happen to fall and you happen to make a mistake. Somebody just happened to catch you on an off day and you kind of snap at them, or you. There's a difference between that. That's not something that you woke up and said, "Oh, I think I'll tell sis out today." That's not that. Okay. So this is what this lesson talks about. This is the city in this lesson. This is a city where David settled. And this is the type of lifestyle that the people was living. They were, can I venture to say, what we would really call in a backslidden state? Can I go there? See, is it kind of equivalent to a backslidden state when you know you're doing wrong,
Never
and then
sin.
you just doing what you're doing? I really have to pick my words carefully, y'all. I don't need for y'all to pray for me.
They be
Because
watching you.
just pray for me when pray me through, pray me through. But the lesson talks about, although, because God just being God and just being who He is, although He know what you're gonna, like sis said, He know what you're gonna do before you do it. He's yet there for you. He yet loves you in spite of. He's constantly waiting. He's constantly there interceding, with the Father on our behalf. Father, give him another chance. Give Chrissy another chance. Give Chrissy another chance, Daddy. She's gonna get it right. Don't whip her today, Daddy. She gonna get it right. She gonna get it right, Daddy. She's trying, Dad. Give her. This is what He does. This is what Jesus does for us, because He loves us so much. When it just talks about, and I can tie every lesson that we do, I can tie it into Calvary. I can bring everything to Calvary. I can bring everything to Him being born just for me. I could tie everything into Him dying on the cross just for me. Even though He knew I was a sinner, even though He knew that I had a bad attitude, even though He knew I was mean, even though He knew that He knew some of the other things that He delivered me from. He knew this about me before I knew this about me. But yet He wanted to die for my sins. Yet He wanted to give me a chance to be a part of His kingdom. And I think that's just about all I got to say, sis, because, I am just, I'm really just kind of like, just like the scripture says, I'm really just kind of like a pot in the potter's hand. Can I say to the potter, when he gets ready to break me so that he can make me again, oh, you don't need to break me because I'm already whole. He knows that there's a flaw in the pot. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, she trying not to get on her soapbox, but yeah, this lesson is amazing because, as this was pointed out, when the city of David was just overwhelmed. That's the lesson brought out. It said they were overwhelmed by their enemies, but by their sins. Um, so yeah, they were in like a backsliding state, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see this a lot with the children of Israel and the generations on down the line. You know right, but you don't do right. He has his relationship with the Israelites of, I want you to do right, and I want you to do right, I want you to do right, but you don't do right, but you don't do right. And sis, yes, we can always pull everything back to Calvary, because the lesson even brought out and talked about how Jesus came so we would feel the wrath of God. He was there. We got our brand new mercies. He showed us so much mercy by sending His Son to sit on the throne to intercede for us, on the right hand of the throne to intercede for us. Um, and what we have to realize is that Jesus, as he intercedes for us, I used to love how they used to break that down so beautifully. Um, because Jesus seeing his people like how they were and said, Father, I will go. And he went down and came, as God in flesh. He came down. Um, because, and it happened back then, it happens now. You can't be fake with God. We always say God knows our heart. Yeah, he know your heart, and he know what your heart was premeditating, what your heart was planning, what you knew you was doing, what you knew you was saying. And as Christians, like as the Israelites, as God's chosen people, we have these mercies that he gives us, but we can't mistreat it, right? Well, that's what sis was like. I gotta get on my soap. I don't want to get on my soapbox about this. We can't mistreat it. I don't mind saying it. I'm young and stuff been said to me all kind of way. I'm good because I know who I'm protected by. But you have people that sit and plot and scheme and have their plans in the backside, in their back mind, but can pray down the house, preach down,
speaking seven different times. Yes.
do everything, and then you watch them be UGLY in spirit. Like I told one of my students, I said, "You so pretty, but your attitude." I put it like this: your attitude so stank that it overshadows when people think of you, they're not gonna think of, oh, she pretty, oh, she wear nice clothes. Folks, you want to be remembered by, if you're a mother or whatever you are, or evangelist, whatever, you want to be remembered by, oh, she was nice and sweet. Oh, and she knew how to dress. Not she was hip hopping everywhere and doing this, that, and the third. We don't want that. And I love how the lesson put it. They talked about this guy, Pastor Lawrence. It's just a fake name. And I was reading, I said, oh, this is a nice one, because they talk about mercy. Talk about how Pastor Lawrence was like, no, not that Lawrence. They just used the name. Let me tell you about Pastor Lawrence real quick. Pastor Lawrence was a pastor, right? He had a thriving clothing store. He was making money. He showed that, you could have nice clothes and all these things and still get your money right, do all this and serve God, be active. And he had all the young people following him. They was like, oh, y'all seen Pastor Lawrence? Y'all seen Pastor Lawrence? Pastor Lawrence would preach and say, we need to stop selling drugs in our community. The drug dealers got to stop selling it in our community. The next thing you know, the kids saw him on the news because they done raided his store. Because what was Pastor Lawrence doing? Selling drugs. Then he got locked up in jail. But even in that's a whole different thing about when you have a platform, because people watching us. You have a platform. We can't abuse that. If you preaching this, you got to preach what you follow. They always used to teach us when I was the stuff that I did learn. When we prepare our sermons as evangelists, as teachers, when we prepare our sermons, it touches us, and we preach to ourselves before, because we got to make sure that we right. And so that was the same thing with Pastor Lawrence. So even all that with the whole drama with Pastor Lawrence, that his students said he taught us about mercy, he taught us about grace, and he's in jail right now or prison right now, serving his time. But it got back out that he asked for forgiveness and all of that.
Yeah.
So even with that, and this guy knew he was doing wrong, doing one thing, doing the opposite of what he said he was doing. And that's how God's heart is so big, that when you're sincere, because he knows when you're sincere and you really not to do it, and you really didn't want to do it, and you really was trying not to do it. That's why sometimes it's okay to be like sis sometimes, and you just gotta
sit and rock.
Close your mouth or something. Take a walk. Even if it's on the door, back to the bed. Take you a nice little walk, okay? But I just thought that part of the lesson was so nice. And when it just said, are you dishonoring? We need to honor God. Are you dishonoring God? You just honor him when you don't honor his word.
Yes, and I just want to just say one thing. Even on this week, I had to say, Deacon Honey and I had a conversation because we had to be like so careful because we wanted to know, are we holding um some of our mentees to a higher standard than we're holding our own marriage? Because I'm like, I can see us in the beginning stages of our marriage. So why are we upset with them, with our mentees? Because I can see me. I can see me. And then it kind of like causes you to repent. So as saints, some of us mean well when we're like, you need to stop doing this, you do stop. Are you throwing the rock and hiding your hand because you can see yourself in what I'm doing? Or you trying to clean it up, sis? But sometimes we hold other people to a higher standard. But be mindful because what does the word say? When I was a child,
Okay.
I did as a child, but now that I have become a man, I put away childish things. So now that I know better, now that somebody has told me better, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop pointing the finger at somebody else and trying to get the splinter out of their eye, or the sawdust. I'm going to say the sawdust out of their eye, and you got the whole tree in yours, not just a little dust, whole limb hanging out. Okay, so just be careful, and I've learned to be careful. Thanks to God, be careful. You don't know the situation. You don't know what people going through in their personal life. Be careful. Be especially in these oh, y'all. When I tell you Jesus coming, be careful. I know grandma been saying it. Grandma been gone 20, 30 years, and people still saying he coming. People still saying these are last and evil days, but yeah, just okay. Yeah.
All right. Awesome, sis. You guys, this has been an awesome Sunday school lesson. Um, you know, just take take your little nugget, but as we say, don't stop here. If whether you're virtual, in person, even once we go back to church, we won't have in-person Sunday school. So we still feeding off you all. So I forgot to even do this, but thank you all for subscribing, liking our channel. If you have stayed to the end, if you have subscribed to the channel and stayed to the end, follow us on all our social media platforms, which are at
the bottom of the screen. Are we up to like 186? Are we 186 or 176?
I think I want to say 187, something like that. It may be 190. Yeah, so thank you all for just subscribing, liking. Please comment, please share, do all of that. Okay, yeah. Help us.
Can make tell your friend. If we can make it to 200 subscribers, I'm gonna give away some more money. We gave away some money to somebody when we made it to. Did we give away money when we made it to 100?
Yeah, we gave away it was maybe 150. We tried to do something for 100, but nobody never picked up, so we just waited to 150.
Nobody never got. Yeah, I still have that. I still have that gift for that one. But yes, the 150. Yes.
So hey,
y'all, come on.
Not only are you going to study this Sunday school lesson, not only you going to study this Sunday school lesson, you go share it so that way you can have an opportunity to get a physical nugget, get your spiritual nugget, get your physical nugget. All right, you guys, thank you again for just coming to our channel. Don't stop here with us, as we always say. And on that note, happy studying.
Studying.
See you guys.